I woke up in ICU 1 to 2 weeks after I had arrived to the hospital, and I was just trying to figure out where I was. Well, it was February 10th, 2016. I woke up that morning just like any other morning and dropped my son off at school and headed off to my own school where I work. I started to feel a certain kind of aura. I held my head and I put my head down at a desk in the main office. The vice principal came over to me. He noticed right away that I was slurring in my speech and my eye became a little slanted. He proceeded to call 911. They brought me to Oakville Trafalgar. They took me for a variety of different tests. They didn't understand what was happening inside of me.
I was called to the emergency department for a woman who had her circulation to her legs essentially cut off, and she was in very bad shape, and she needed an urgent operation in order to keep her legs and essentially save her life.
What I ended up having was called a cardiac myxoma. That set off a series of events in my body, things like mini strokes that affected my kidneys, it affected my spleen, it affected my brain, and obviously it affected my lower limbs.
It's a very rare event superimposed on top of another rare event. At that point in time, we were in mostly damage control mode, and we needed to reestablish circulation to both of her legs as soon as possible.
I never felt despair. I never felt like I'm gonna die. Even though it looked like that a lot of the time, I never felt that way at all. I just felt like this incredible team of people were all making sure that I was gonna be okay and I'd go home one day.
In these kinds of situations, time was of the essence. So as soon as I saw her, we had her up in the operating room. She underwent a 13-hour operation, and 2 days later required another 6 to 8 hour operation. Her circulation was essentially cut off here. The blood supplied to both legs. During the procedure, I required the use of X-ray equipment and using it in such a way that it wasn't necessarily designed for use previously with vascular operations. But with the Foundation's generosity, we now have the capabilities and the correct equipment to perform intraoperative X-ray imaging with our vascular procedures. And so going forward, we have been able to utilize this equipment, which has been a game changer for us. On behalf of the vascular surgeons here at Halton Healthcare, I wanted to extend my gratitude to the Foundation and especially the donors that have allowed us to bring vascular surgery here to the modern level in which we operate currently.
I was in the hospital for 10 months in total. Essentially, I started in the emergency room and I moved my way across the entire hospital. All my care was in the hospital. Finally, December 13th came. That was my discharge date. We went straight to my daughter's basketball game. Just walking in there and seeing her face and seeing how excited that she got knowing that Mommy's coming home was the most incredible feeling. I had no fear because I felt prepared, and just knowing that I was ready to go home and that the people at Oakville Trafalgar really helped prepare me for that was incredible. Every day, even now, I walk around my home with my own legs and I think to myself, see, Dr. Lowe, this is why you had faith. This is why you believed in me. There wasn't another hospital that I would want to be at. That hospital made me feel like I was home. When I used to go for strolls down to the lobby with my mother, something that really felt incredible to me was to look up at the wall where the donations are, and I would look at those names and I would read every single one of those names, and I would think to myself, how could I ever repay those people? When I would look at those names, I would think that each one of those people contributed to my being here. each one of those people that contributed, that donated money to the hospital, they're the reason why the hospital had the right equipment. They're the reason why I was able to get all the tests that I needed to get done. They're the reason why I was able to stay at the hospital for 10 months until I was well enough to return home to my kids and to my husband and to my family. And they're the reason why I feel like I could be strong enough and well enough to return to work one day and hopefully return to life where I can give back as well.